Hello, everybody! Welcome to the Court Jester podcast. What a fucking week. Congratulations to the Toronto motherfucking Raptors on their world championship. Wow. What a lot happened. So last time we talked to you, it was before Game 6 of the finals, where the Raptors 1-6.
Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed it?
This guy would have guessed it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Brad Rickert, your host of the Court Jester podcast, and with me as always is...
Hello, it's Matthew Patrick Torres.
That's good.
Find me on Instagram and...
What was your original pick? Warriors in 5?
Like Bucks and 7.
Bucks in 7.
Bucks and 7.
Nice, yeah. Bucks weren't quite ready. Wow. There's so much to discuss. I guess... I'll tell you about my personal experience with the finals. So I am an avid basketball fan, and unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, I went on vacation this last weekend, and I went to Bonnaroo.
How dare you?
I know. It's been a big group activity I've had planned with some friends for a few months, and it turns out Game 6 is on the first night of Bonnaroo. And I ran around the entire farm on Bonnaroo. It's this music festival on this farm, looking for a TV. Apparently it was playing somewhere. I could not find the game. So I'm looking at my app, constantly following everything. And I actually did not get to watch Game 6, which is unfortunate until after the fact. I did watch it, on replay later. But, a whole NBA season, and I didn't get to see the end of it, which kind of bums me out. But... I think there's plenty to talk about. I think I can still have plenty of analysis. And go ahead and tell me what your experience was and what you thought about the last game of the finals.
First off, that's unfortunate. Of all my friends, maybe top 5 people I know that are most interested in basketball, circumstance pulled you away from the game.
And honestly, it's kind of weird because this has been a recurring theme in my life. I almost always, growing up, would get stuck on a shitty family vacation in the early to middle part of June when the NBA Finals would be going on. And because my family was poor, and this is before cell phones were very popular and all that stuff, I'd get dragged to this shitty campground somewhere in the middle of Indiana, and I'd literally be reading about the NBA Finals in a fucking newspaper the next day.
I was in the fucking 20s?
I was the 9, 10, 11-year-old kid running around these shit-ass towns in Indiana just looking for a newspaper so I could find out that Allen Iverson dropped fucking 50 on the Lakers. And it just broke my fucking heart.
I don't know why I picture little Brad with a paper
I used to read the newspaper every single day.
I used to read the comics.
I used to read the sports section, and then I started reading, other little parts about local news and then regular news. But I scoured the sports section. I would read the little baseball things every day, see who hit what. They have the little box scores. So it kind of felt like a throwback. And honestly, I didn't... Despite the fact that so much happened, I don't feel like I missed out on much, because if there's one thing that's true about the NBA right now, it's that the game on the court is only a part of the NBA season and the experience. It's almost as if now that the finals have ended, things are really starting to get interesting, and there's championships to be won in the off-season just as much as they are during the season. I think we learned that pretty consistently the last few years, because the last few... winners of finals. We're talking about the Cavs, the Warriors, and now the Raptors. They've won because of big acquisitions they made in the offseason. Kawhi Leonard was a big trade last year. Big risk by the Raptors giving up their cornerstone of their franchise, DeMar DeRozan. And here they are, 1 year later with the championship. It doesn't even matter. It does matter if Kawhi leaves. Obviously, you want to retain Kawhi. But they got their chip. And, look at the Dallas Mavericks. That one championship, that represents a successful 20-year career for Dirk Nowitzki. I think Toronto made a big risk, and they pulled it off. Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors, that was one in the offseason. LeBron coming back to the Cavs. There's so much going on right now that the season has ended. I almost feel like we can finally get moving on all these free agents and trades and all this shit that we've been waiting on forever.
And to bring it back to your newspaper days, we've never known more than we know now. We know, every little, Kawhi got angry this weekend, and maybe he won't stay in Toronto.
Oh, right, yeah.
Kawhi bought a little summer home, and Kawhi, there's a bunch of,
so much information.
Yeah, so now it's, it goes to, so a lot of people, are 100% positive Kawhi will, stay or go. I think it's just like you. I mean, only he knows.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe he hasn't even decided yet. Something tells me he
true.
probably has. I have a very strong feeling that he's going to go to the LA Clippers just because he's from there and he's kind of proven that he is the reason why teams win. You know, it's not necessarily that the Raptors were prime and ready for a championship before he got there. He just got there, and then throughout the season, they made these great moves, bringing in these players and developing talent to support him. You know, like the Marcus Gasol trade turned out to be huge in the finals. He had so many good games, so many impactful minutes.
He was great.
Serge Ibaka, there was a trade they made not too long ago. I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but yeah, Toronto really pulled it off. You got to give it up to their new GM for pulling off so many good moves and kind of putting together a really great team. I expect Kawhi to consider staying in Toronto just because why not? But ultimately, I see him going to the LA Clippers, and the board man will get paid. The board man will get paid.
I mean, I try to think if I was him right now. I mean, I feel like he hasn't. I mean, it's hard to say, but if I had to just all speculation and guess, I feel like he has to a little bit be caught up in the moment. Like Toronto's loving him right now. You know,
I think out of everyone, he's the one that would be the least swayed by it, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, just because this persona of like he doesn't care.
I don't think it's a persona. I think it's his personality.
He's just a killer. He's like a Terminator.
Yeah, I don't think it's fake. I mean, he learned from the best in Tim Duncan, the emotionless leader, MVP, great top 20 player. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard really. I mean, what is he? 27, 28 right now. He might have another 3 championships in him.
Oh, I was going to say, there's a low-key... I mean, I don't want to say this because then I'll get all this hate.
No, bring it up. Just say it.
There's a low-key chance he could be like a GOAT contender.
Yep.
But then it's so early, but there's still a chance. Like,
I mean, he's already won.
Fit.
He's won 2 MVPs, finals MVPs, in different conferences on different teams and in different countries. No one can say that.
He's only 27, and then he's also he's living in an era where 27's even younger than it was before.
Right.
So he could I would even say he could get 6 maybe. You don't know what team.
I mean, if it really depends on how he wants to go about it. It seems like to me he wants to be the cornerstone and the main player on a team and maybe not team up with other major superstars. But I think it might be an interesting choice for him to consider going and playing with a team that already is a contender in some regard. Because say he goes to Golden State, or if he went to the LA Lakers, he's going to rack up those rings. And the super team kind of is the way to a ring most of the time. You got to give him a lot of respect for not doing that in Toronto and pulling it off. But
now he even has
ultimately there's going to be the counter, which is
if he gets a super ring, super team ring. He has this Toronto ring, which will always be when someone's like, "Oh, you need a super team," but what about Toronto?
Right.
They're lucky Golden State got hurt so much.
Well, yeah, which is a great transition because we're talking about Toronto and Kawhi and all these things that could be happening there, but really. Just as interesting as across on the other side of those sidelines is Golden State, and they have, I hate the Golden State Warriors. I've hated them for a long time, but I do have to say this: they were good losers. They were super good losers, and
best losers.
I think they were super respectable. I think they tried their hardest. They went in and tried to win and didn't back down. Held their confidence and gave it everything they got. I honestly think they were the better team. They just pushed their horses way too much because they didn't have the depth that the Toronto Raptors had, and they have been through a grueling season, a grueling 4 or 5 year run where they've been to the finals. That's their 5th finals in a row, So, the legs on Clay or the ACL going out on Clay is honestly the saddest shit. But that's what happens when you're going full intensity for all these games in a row. He's had all these minutes rack up. Not everybody is LeBron. Not everybody's going to have a 20-year career where you can pace yourself and just keep your body in prime shape. These guys' legs do give out. We've seen it with Durant. We've seen it with Klay Thompson. We saw it with DeMarcus Cousins. They were better, but Father Time is getting them. And they're aging out in a certain sense of being the best players in the game.
I think they're done.
You think they're both of their careers are pretty much done?
Of being stars. They could be side characters.
Yeah. Well, I think Kevin Durant has a really good chance to come back and be super impactful still just based on his size and physique. But that also is a major worry for that leg re-injuring as well. I would say that the one thing that both of those guys have that maybe hasn't been factored into other major injuries like this before is that they're both maybe top 5 shooters of all time. And you kind of don't lose your shot. I mean, they do have some speed and they have been known to, do whatever, but they're always going to have that shot. Clay, to me, he can never not be a shooter that can't score 20 points as long as he can get on the floor. You know what I mean? Because, his shot is just so deadly. And Kevin Durant's the same way, except he's 7 feet tall. So.
Oh, this is not, I don't know if we were going to talk about this, but it's crazy. Clay, he made those 2 free throws.
Oh, after he tore his ACL.
Torn ACL?
Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah. I mean, Clay has always been my favorite Warrior. I am extremely saddened by the fact that he got hurt like that. I think it does even out in the league in a way, but man, I just.
Do you see him walk back like a boss?
It fucking sucks because we're never ever 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 going to get to see prime Klay Thompson at his full potential because he gave up the prime of his career
to Golden State.
To play with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Draymond Green and win championships. And he got 3 rings, and he will go to the Hall of Fame, and he will be considered a great. But God, it would have been great to see him run and gun on his own team or with someone that let him kind of do his thing a little bit more.
What would you consider? I mean, so like maybe he would get heat like another player going to Golden State. But I think because they lost so many pieces, like if you know anything about basketball, I don't feel like people are going to give anybody who goes to Golden State now any heat. Because then you're just you and Steph against the world.
Yeah, it's over now. I mean, that's the thing. Draymond Green's already been deteriorating as a regular season player for the last few years. He did do a great job in the playoffs, and I will give him that. He stepped up and played great, but that's not something I feel like he can consistently do in an 82-game season.
So Dynasty's over.
I mean, it would seem that way unless they make some moves to transition into something else, but obviously that reiteration of the Golden State Warriors' dominance is over. I think they can maybe find themselves back in it, and I think we're looking at free agents possibly considering a move to them, but if they want to but they have to make big decisions. They have to decide whether they're going to re-sign Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson to these giant deals based on past experience and hope they get back to that point, or they're going to have to try to give that money to someone else and bring in a healthy player that can contribute right now. And I guarantee that the Warriors will give a contract to at least one of those 2 guys, and it will be a max contract. I don't know who, and I don't know how exactly this is going to work out. But it is super, super unfortunate for those individual players, but I think overall for the league it really evens it out. And right now, based on, this is a great time to transition to it. They are no longer the favorites, and to me it's pretty obvious that the LA Lakers are fucking coming.
I was about to say off rumors mostly too.
What's that?
The LA Lakers are number 1.
Yeah, they're already a Vegas favorite. You're talking about having 2 of the top 5 players in the game. With this Anthony Davis trade.
And it's done pretty much, right?
Yeah, they're still kind of hammering out the details because they're trying to get rid of a couple more players, but it is 100% well, I guess 99% happening. I guess anything could happen because it's not totally finalized. But they have...
Nothing is.
They've reached an agreement.
LeBron could get in a bus accident on Space Jam 2 right now.
Yeah, I heard measles is going around. A lot of shit could happen, dude. But yeah, we're talking about the Lakers having a blank canvas at this point, and if they're basically what's happening is they traded away Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and 3 first-round draft picks for Anthony Davis, which is a crazy haul for New Orleans. Major props to them for getting that much in return.
And ballsy.
Yeah, for both of them. Yeah. But I would say that it really kind of does work in the Lakers' favor because almost nothing about them worked last year. They had no cohesion, they had no identity, and they had no direction that they were heading. I think they needed to start over again. And they kept the best player that can fit into any system with Kyle Kuzma. I think that's the underlying biggest part of that trade is that Kyle Kuzma is still on the LA Lakers. And he's playing with LeBron, and he's playing with Anthony Davis. And if you can get one more person at Kyle Kuzma level or higher, Lakers got it. And all they have to do is fill up that team with young players with some energy that can carry minutes in the regular season, you find out who you can insert in the playoff situations, and then you have vets on the team that you rest during the regular season and put into those positions late in the season and the playoffs. If I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at J.J. Redick, I'm looking at players like Derrick Rose. I'm looking at players like maybe even like I mean.
Derrick Rose would be cool.
I would really, really go after Al Horford if I was anybody. Really go after Al Horford. He declined his option with the Celtics this year. He's looking for another deal. If you can't get a max player, if you can't get Jimmy Butler, if you can't get Kemba Walker, if you can't get Kyrie Irving, Al Horford is up there for me because he's a great system player. The Lakers just need to get shooters and defenders, and I mean, let's just load him up. LeBron just got to get out his Rolodex and be like, hey, Carmelo, how's that 3-ball shot coming? You going to just come play 15 minutes a game? What you doing, you know? I think it's going to be like that.
I have a thought that most people don't have.
What's that?
It's I mean, I have like a little inside angle too. I have a friend who he's on the crew right now. He's working on Space Jam 2.
Oh, cool. Nice.
A lot of people are forgetting LeBron James is mingling with all the stars of the NBA right now in Space Jam 2. So what an illustrious way to get players by having them come to LA, shoot a movie in LA with arguably the best basketball player of all time, and you're just hanging out with him, eating lunch. I mean, that's a pretty big chip. Think about it.
If you need to get some business done, just throw a party.
Yeah,
you know?
And the movie's gonna be like all the best players that make cameos.
And cameos. It's not even just the 5 guys. It's like who's showing up who's showing up today. You know, and it's.
So you might get a little wooing power in that movie. Like, you want to be in more movies?
Yo, like I got this whole thing. You know, like you like these checks. You know, yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know, LeBron played the long game. I think he took his time. I think he didn't freak out last year. I think we saw him be patient, and it's paying off. Again, we have a whole season to play. We have to see how it works out. But watch out, LeBron's coming. Anthony Davis is coming. The Lakers
it shows you
are
his
coming.
basketball mind, too, because, like, I mean, who knows, but I feel like he probably could have forced himself to play.
Yes, of
and
course.
They definitely would have made the playoffs.
Yep.
And he knew he was going to lose, so he was like,
fuck it. I need those 2 months off. I mean, he basically did the Jordan thing and retired from basketball like for half a season last year just to rest his legs.
Smart.
And incredibly smart. You know, he saw the Warriors falling apart and knowing that they had one more year. He saw the players around him. No one was like at that championship level that could really help him. And once he saw that the Lakers weren't making those moves to get Anthony Davis in, I guess New Orleans just wasn't going to give him up. I think it became very clear that LeBron kind of just said, fuck this, I need to chill the fuck out, and it worked out perfectly because he is going to record Space Jam, and you know what? He's going to come back, and I not only think the Lakers are going to win 1, I think they will probably win at least 2 in the next 3 years, especially if Anthony Davis re-signs, but yeah, it's just, fuck, man. I mean, they do need to put a team around those 2. They need to figure out what's going to go around them. But I think the hardest part's already done.
Yeah, this next season is going to be the most changed NBA season from season to season we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and we've seen that progressively grow, but I think this is kind of the summer where, you know, like, it's kind of all coming together, you know, and I think it would have been even crazier if it wasn't for those Durant and Clay injuries, because those 2 would have definitely had a huge demand from everyone. Now, maybe not so much, but...
If either one of them stayed really healthy, I feel like they could have won.
Probably. Well, I mean, I think we saw that the Warriors maybe were going to lose either way with Klay Thompson because they were just so depleted.
At least they had a fighting chance.
Oh, of course they had a fighting chance. Yeah, I mean, they still almost won that last game.
That's crazy.
The other side to this Anthony Davis trade, which is interesting, is the New Orleans Pelicans too. And we talk about the haul they get. Not only do they have all those players coming in, but they have an all-star on that team already with Drew Holiday. And they have the number 1 pick, and now the number 4 pick. There's talk of that number 4 pick turning into Bradley Beal at some point, and there might be a trade before the draft tomorrow, or maybe right after. But, I mean, Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and Drew Holiday, that's a pretty good starting 5 for 2019. But that is a fucking great starting 5 for 2023. And
that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's a good basketball move from 2 to 3 years down the line.
It sets them up for like the next 10 years because even if like one of those guys doesn't pan out or whatever,
one will.
And they have all those draft picks from the Lakers, you know. Plus, it's not like they're going to be a championship contender now. I mean, I don't think so at least. So they're still going to have decent draft picks the next few years. They're in a really good position. I think David Griffin did a really great job kind of figuring out what the best situation for them was. And it's kind of funny that it ended up being the Lakers, you know what I mean? They avoided the Lakers, but it still ended up being them. Celtics fucked up. Knicks fucked up. Everybody fucked up.
Bulls always fucked up.
The Bulls.
The Bulls.
The Bulls. Do you have anything you want to say about the Bulls? Do you think we're going to get any free agents this summer?
I mean, I still think they'll make the playoffs. This is they have like nothing now. They have like nothing to lose. Like
yeah, I keep seeing all these videos of Zach LaVine running around in the sand, like training and shit.
Is there a purpose for them to tank at all? I don't know.
The Bulls. Is there a reason for them to do anything? I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. We've been in basketball purgatory in Chicago for quite a long time.
Nobody feels bad for us.
No, nor should they. You know, it's not like we couldn't be good. It's just like
I still hold on to the bet wherever I made in that one video.
What's that? Oh, the 45 win bet?
Yeah,
we'll have to go back and watch sometime and figure out what that was. I think it was 45, and I said
I think that they'll make the playoffs.
31 or 32 or something like that. Yeah.
Who knows in the East you can make the playoffs.
Right.
7 wins.
Well,
You're the best.
The East won the title this year, and the Bucks looked good, and the Sixers looked good, and I mean, we thought the Celtics were going to be good, but the Celtics turned out to be just a total fucking shit show. They basically ruined every chance they had to be a dynasty. In my opinion, they had it's kind of like karma just coming back and biting them in the ass. You know, they made that Isaiah Thomas trade, which was cold, heartless, and shitty. And you think, you know, you understand, it's business and all that stuff. But yeah, it just like they didn't pull off the AD trade. Kyrie doesn't want to stick around anymore now. Al Horford wants out. There's so much dysfunction last year because they didn't figure out how to use those players correctly. And I think that's a big like life lesson for everybody, is that you can't just assume that everything's gonna work out down the road and just like kind of say fuck it for now. You gotta figure out how to make good decisions for now so it works out in the future still.
Keep making influential moves.
Right, because now the Celtics have like pretty much Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, which either one of them could be really great players. But outside of that, they have Gordon Hayward stuck to this contract with his fucked up leg from a couple years ago. I mean, I don't think Tatum or Jaylen Brown is ready to take a team deep into the playoffs by themselves.
No.
Right.
I thought about it for a second. I didn't know you were being sarcastic. I was like, do they? I was like, no.
No, I don't think so. I would say watch out for the Sixers next year in the East. Watch out for the Bucks. And then we'll see if Kawhi stays in Toronto. But
I have another unpopular opinion I thought of.
What's that?
People will hate this one too.
Okay.
I think Toronto might have also too had like a perfect storm in the fact that I feel like it was easier to make it through the East. So then Golden State that's why Golden State got so banged up. I feel like, do you think Toronto could have cut through those teams as easy in the West?
I actually think Toronto had a harder road.
You think so?
Yeah.
With the Bucks?
Yeah, they took the Bucks was a 6-game series. They were down 2-0. The series before that was 7 games with the Sixers. They won on a last-second shot with Kawhi in Game 7.
That was kind of luck.
I mean, they were tied, so it would have went to overtime, but
still a lucky shot.
I mean, yeah, I mean they had to do a 7-6 and 6-game series. I guess the Warriors road was what, their first series. I don't even remember who the Golden State played in the first series, but after that they did Houston in 6 games, and then they swept the Trailblazers. So, yeah, I feel like the Warriors really had the time to rest a little more.
You think so?
And I do think Toronto actually did have a harder road.
I think they were just so good initially.
Who, Toronto?
No, Golden State. That's why they cut through everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think that
Golden State's a dynasty?
Do you think Golden State at the big, the crew at the beginning of the playoffs in the West would have hurt Toronto a lot more? That strong of a team.
Yeah, I think Golden State would have won if Durant and Klay Thompson were 100% for sure.
I think the road chipped away at them.
Yeah, and I think DeMarcus Cousins wouldn't have had to been thrown in such vulnerable positions, and maybe would have been able to contribute even more had those other guys been around. But once Kevin Durant went down, he was obviously the best player on that team, and even though Steph is like the team guy that holds them together, KD is 7 feet tall, and it's
like
the playoffs, and you can just dump him the ball and he'll win you a game. I think he was the answer for Kawhi Leonard, and we saw what he did in those 10 minutes he came back. What did he have, like 11 points or some shit like that, and he was just nailing threes and like. I mean, yeah, I think obviously if Kevin Durant's in that series, he's like, I mean, he was the best player in the world, I think, before he hurt his Achilles.
I was just trying to think of like
And that's so sad because he literally had like 2 weeks of being the best player in the world, and LeBron's just like,
go.
Right. Yeah, and he's another one. Him and Clay, they're gonna really have to think about their decision to be part of a team like this. You know what I mean? Because now they may never have a chance to prove that they can do anything else.
I was just trying to think of the douchebag argument when people like argue with you. So probably, if I had to guess, the douchebag argument in the future, like 5 years from now, people are like, yeah, but you got to remember, Golden State got hurt all that way, like it was a gimme.
I mean,
I just try to think of
but the Golden State Warriors beat like their original title. They beat a Cavs team that was banged up with Kevin Love and Kyrie not being there, and they would have never won that one. And then one of the titles they won, I believe that they were playing a depleted Cavs again. So I think that's always kind of factored in. It's rare that you have everyone at 100%, especially now. So I don't know. I mean, a title's a title, and I think this is a huge one. I mean, we were talking about how impressive it is for Kawhi to pull this off. I don't think there's an asterisk by this title personally, because I mean, you can't be like Klay Thompson was there up until the last few minutes. Steph Curry was there. Draymond was there. You were still playing 4 fucking All-Stars with DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, like. It's not like they were a bad team. They were just playing everyone else has been playing the Monstars for the last 3 or 4 years. I really, really don't think that anyone should put an asterisk by Toronto's title at all. At all.
Congratulations, Toronto. You got one good.
You got one, Canada.
That's pretty cool. I wish I was there.
Yeah, it would have been fun. My buddy actually went to the parade and
2 people shot
the games and stuff. Yeah.
We don't forget Toronto.
That's what happens, Toronto.
You guys got guns too, all that trash you talk.
Those Canadians, maybe we should build a wall.
What was that all about? He shot me.
Did you hear about Kyrie and how he's handling the Celtics situation right now, by the
No,
way?
what happened?
Apparently he's ghosted the Celtics and just stopped talking to them for like the last week or whatever. Have you ever just like ghosted a job?
Or, women?
Oh, yeah, or like a date, or someone you were dating.
Have I ever ghosted a job? No, I get too scared.
Yeah.
I get my 2 weeks.
Right.
But I have ghosted people.
Right.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Nice. Man, the Celtics really have a lot of shit coming back at them. If you were Kyrie, where would you go?
I mean, what would you say his top 3 options are?
Well, rumor is he's going to the Nets, so I'll put them in there. I think his other major options would be LA, obviously, the Lakers. I think this might sound crazy. Actually, that's an awful fit. I was going to say he should go to Houston if they get rid of Chris Paul. But him and James Harden, no one else would touch the ball. Dang.
It's probably between...
he could go to the Clippers with Kawhi or something like that.
That'd be nice. You don't think the Lakers had you think he's gotten over it, he wants to be the man type thing, or?
I really can't read Kyrie very well. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. He wanted his own team in Boston.
He's probably thinking about Uncle Drew.
Yeah, he's thinking about Uncle Drew too. Yeah,
Uncle Drew too.
I wonder if I can make it out still Space Jam.
Basketball, Joe. I want to make a movie.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving. I guess his major choices are the Nets, the Knicks, and the LA Lakers. I would say that the Clippers should be a huge thought for anyone if Kawhi Leonard's going there with their 2 max spots and their 40-something wins last year and Doc Rivers as coach. They have a good owner, good management, and good coach. That's pretty much kind of the system you need, for a superstar to come in and win championships, especially in a major city. But yeah, I guess it's already pretty much a made decision that he's going to the Nets.
Yeah, I feel like him on the Nets is just going to be Boston this year.
Yeah, I kind of agree. They were a playoff team, and they didn't... I guess Kyrie's a slight upgrade from D'Angelo Russell. That would be fucking sick if D'Angelo went to the Lakers, because Kyrie comes into the Nets,
That'd be
too.
nice.
They bring him back. They're like, hey, Magic's gone. The guy who traded you is gone.
There's so many crazy possibilities. Rose going back to Chicago to finish off his life.
Yeah, I actually saw today that the Lakers were rumored to be looking at Derrick Rose too, which
he'd be a nice little.
He averaged 18, 19 points a game last year. He would be a great 25 to 30 minute point guard. Either a starter or a backup that comes in and plays significant minutes.
And he could play significant enough where that if the Lakers got a ring, that'd be a ring. That'd be his ring.
I know. How I would fucking cry.
That would be like a tearful...
If Derrick Rose gets a ring, I would cry.
I would just...
Especially if he like contributes in major ways. You know
I mean,
what I mean?
I think he probably could contribute. Yeah.
I think he could be 15 to 20 points a game on a Lakers team that wins a title. Yeah,
they would just have to really save him. Those old taffy legs.
His old taffy legs. I mean, he's looked great on Minnesota. I don't know if you've watched him, but he looks strong. He looks fast. He looks great. I think he's just playing smarter. He's not playing as wild, as he did back.
Well, I've seen in interviews he's saying he's become more of a shooter. He can't be all these little wobbly passes, and he goes under the thing and does
he's
something weird.
He's smooth as fuck. I love watching him play even now. He's still one of my favorite players. I would love to see Derrick Rose on an impact team next year. I'd almost prefer that than him coming to Chicago, where I could go watch him play all the time.
Derrick Rose used to be a gangster disciple. I just want to make sure people don't forget. There's pictures of him throwing up the fork. It's a gang sign.
Bon appetit. Fuck. Okay. All right. Next topic. Okay. You hear about this Rocket shit?
Chris Paul and they're like not getting along. Him and James Harden.
Yeah, I guess they don't like each other anymore. Isn't that sad?
I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a rumor.
No, that's real. I've seen videos. I've
really?
read articles.
What's the video?
Of them fighting on the bench together, like fucking screaming at each other.
Oh, I've seen
and
it.
everyone else on the team just going, like, just looking like totally, like just beaten in the face. Like they're like, oh no, we're gonna lose because these guys are definitely not on the same page.
Then the Rockets probably take Harden inside.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently the rumor that has been going around is that Chris Paul demanded a trade, and that their relationship is unsalvageable. But Chris Paul's camp is saying that he never demanded a trade, but they're also not denying some of the other shit. So my guess is that the Rockets are looking to trade Chris Paul, because especially with his contract's fucking stupid big. And I don't know why they gave him that much anyway for 4 years.
What about all the State Farm commercials they did together?
They were buddies. They did the commercials. I remember seeing videos of them at a Travis Scott concert when they first got together, hanging out and shit. But ultimately, not the rumor, but just the could have been common knowledge for a long time that Chris Paul's maybe a little asshole-ish, a little bit. And obviously James Harden likes to hold the ball, and he had an MVP year, scoring like 36 points a game last year.
Yeah, they look nice together.
But yeah, I'm sure Chris Paul's kind of sick of that. I could understand that too. I think it'll be interesting to see where Chris Paul goes. I don't think he'll be an impact on a major team, but I think the Rockets might be able to reassess their situation and figure something out. I think it might be, in order for someone to take on that much extra bullshit money for someone like Chris Paul, they'd have to be in really bad shape. So someone like the Chicago Bulls really might be able to land Chris Paul and ship off some younger players.
That'd be cool. I'd watch that.
I mean, it could happen. I think. I cannot fucking breathe. I'm sorry. We'll edit that out.
I feel like that a little bit too.
Yeah, it's probably
carbon monoxide.
Yeah, we're dying. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Oh yeah, the NBA draft's tomorrow. Zion to the Pelicans. Anything else interesting about the NBA draft you want to talk about?
No, I'm excited. It's like basketball never stops now.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, there's so much going on. We'll have the draft tomorrow. We'll kind of see where everything lies. I think there's some potential trades that could be going on in there.
For video people, if you're watching this, you made it to the end. If you have like a weird question or something, comment it, and then we'll address it.
Yeah, please comment, ask us questions. We'd be happy to respond.
Subscribe, hit the subscribe
button. Somewhere around here. And then, do you have any shows you want to pimp before we get out of here?
Oh, no, I'm doing a show with Brad. I mean, this won't age well at the end, but I'm doing a show with Brad this Sunday,
June 23rd.
23rd.
At the store in Chicago, 2002 North
food.
Halstead.
We're gonna get
Park.
crazy.
Oh yeah, free show, free dinner, free food.
And Matt will be there, Brad will be there. We'll rub your back if you come and bring this up.
Literally, if you come to the show and you bring up the Court Jesters pod, I will give you a massage, and Matt.
I'll kiss you.
Kiss you while I give you a massage, but only if you want that. And if you don't want that,
I'll still do it. Hashtag.
Never. No.
Never mind.
No.
Oh man. See you guys later.
I'm dying in here. Okay, bye.